Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes, and I can joke and say we had a change of heart, but it was obviously an April Fool's joke yesterday, and we're still around, still bringing you the Milton Daily Homes as often as we can, Monday to Friday, if not by video, at least a quick link by email. So some of the people that we fooled along the way, Diane, Julie, my mom actually cried, Zishan, Iman. These people have become, a lot of them are friends of mine. Christine, we got her pretty good. Anyway, there's a bunch of people, and so we just wanted to give you a shout out here and just say, hey, we're here. I remember Seth Godin said years ago that the way to tell if you're making an impact is if somebody would miss you when you're gone. So all kidding aside, it really is an honor and a pleasure, and so all those, those kind of shaken emotions when the thought of us not being here happened is just really cool, and I appreciate it. So anyway, enough about that. We'll have some fun today. We've got a bank sale, we have a flip, and I'll show you the before and after, and it should be a good episode. So let's get started. 1421 Costigan number 514, is 281.9. 744 square feet. It seems like it's a little bit on the high side of fair. For some reason, they always show these common areas like the lobby and this gym, which it's not very impressive. If anything, throw it at the back of the photo gallery. The other thing I believe is that you have to put appliances in because a buyer's going to look at this and say, I'm going to have to buy them anyway. So if you're going to ask the money, put them in. Okay, so the tile, I'm sure there's going to be people that walk in and want to change that. The more common thing to do is to have a laminate, hardwood, or carpet. Tile is a little bit, I don't know, it's more of I kind of think about Florida and California and Arizona. That's what I think of when I think of tile floors. It looks like it's got some decent views. Kind of off the side there, you can see some of the green space coming through the subdivision. So we'll see what happens. Those tiles are going to be the biggest barrier for these guys. Now here's the bank sale, 64 Bronte number 3, 3045. Here's the other thing. There's a concept called congruence, and what that means is if you have a nice kitchen, let's just say this kitchen is an 8.5 out of 10. It's for what it is. I mean, I know you can go to multi-million-dollar houses and find spectacular kitchens, but for an entry point condo townhouse, that's a pretty nice kitchen, at least from the pictures. You get in there and you see how the work's done. It's a different story. Now, if you're going to do that, same thing, put the appliances in because it's going to be something that people are going to think about. It's a weird little column on the side here. I've never seen that before, but do the floors, right? Nobody likes parquet floors. So for $5 a square foot, you can put some decent laminate or hardwood floors in. The other thing is this is very, very close to the train track. So I do like the direction that Bronte's going, but this is probably not my favorite condo townhouse out of all of the ones that you could choose from. And obviously the one on Laurier backing onto the ravine is going to attract a lot of attention. And this one may even help that one sell, given there's a $20,000 price difference. So typically power of sales, we've talked about them in past videos, but the banks aren't going to warranty anything about this house. You move in, things aren't working, tough luck. If the owner comes back and pays the money off, you're out of luck. They can cancel the deal even up on the last day of closing. And the other thing that I think about with these sales is that the bank has to prove that they've held out for fair value. Otherwise, the owner can go through an appeal process. So often they leave it on the market. They will sit it at a certain price. To me, it seems a little bit high. But 2015, anything can happen with these, and we've seen a dramatic increase in price even since the fall of 2014. Anyway, the point is that there's a lot of unknowns with these. They're a little bit more risky, and you don't always get the amazing deals that people think you do. Sometimes you do, but I would say more often than not, you can find just as good of a deal, if not better, if you find a motivated seller, if you find a good opportunity of just somebody who's bought a house or they have a job change. It's really just about knowing the market, and if you do know the market, this one doesn't look like it's sort of blow your mind awesome. The village towns, in particular this model, have gone up quite a bit. This is an Ashfield or a Cherrywood model, 1051 square feet, 378. Now you could pick one of these up for probably 340, 345 last year. And then we started to see 350, 360. One of them sold, and it wasn't even that nice, up in the 370s, which blew my mind. So at 378, I think these guys are high, but I've also seen historical evidence that there are some people, and remember we talked yesterday about local agents. I think there's some people that come in from Mississauga and Toronto and think, wow, this is a great deal, and they just look at 2 bedrooms. They don't know there's different models and different sizes, and the sellers get lucky. I've seen it. I've sold a couple of these models back in the day for way more than market value, and so there is some variation there. 2-car parking in the driveway is a nice feature, but it doesn't really add to the price. That's having a park at the end of the street is another example. Nice feature to have. It doesn't give you an extra $5,000 or $10,000. So I think this one's going to sit around, especially if there's more competition that comes out. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if I got surprised. 379 Woodward is the flip. So let me show you the before and after. I guess we'll do the before first. Here it is on the Oakville Milton board. So listed 379, sold at 363, and you can see the house. Obviously they've painted the outside, possibly done a stucco job. Call that on the high side 15-20 grand. Hardwood floors have been replaced. We talked about the budget for that, $5 a square foot plus maybe even $1 or $2 to install. They say in the new listing there's 55 pot lights. You hire someone to do that, you're probably $100 a light. So let's call that $5,000 to even $7,000. Some kitchen work. There's 2 kinds of flips, right? And I'll talk about this as we're browsing through. It looks like there's even a plumbing pipe coming right through the bedroom, which is kind of interesting. But there's flips that are done well, where the owner, I guess, had a little bit more, or the new owner had a little bit more of an intention to live in it. And then there's people that just do a quick lipstick job, and you can usually tell right away, a trained eye can tell right away by walking into a house which one it is. There is exactly half a car sitting in the backyard, so I don't know if they took care of that or not. Let's go back to this listing here. So you can see, essentially, I don't believe there's any additions on this one. The hardwood floors, it's a bit of a hand-scraped look. They've done the stairs. This is nothing fancy in the kitchen. That's not a fancy backsplash. The thing is, if you're going to do something like this, do it right. And again, appliances drive me crazy. Anyway, it's worth it to hire a designer to come in and say, okay, these are the cabinets. This is the backsplash. It would make a much bigger impact. Now, I'm looking at this, and so that's the basement kitchen, and then this is the upstairs kitchen. So overall, the upstairs looks a little better, but taking stuff off of here, they did appliances upstairs, which is probably a good idea, but I would still do it in the basement. They don't have to be amazing, they just have to be there. Something stainless steel and simple. Tile in the bathroom. There's still that pipe there, so I didn't change that. Maybe that adds to the charm, I don't know. And it looks like there's a bit of a basement suite downstairs. Similar house sold on Kingsley. I think it sold for around $540 or so. $575. That was last year's sale. They might have a shot, but I don't know. To me, I would take Kingsley any day over Woodward. It is a busier street, so I think they're aiming a little bit high. The other thing is, when you look at the bedroom configuration, you've got master and second on the main level. Second bedroom is 7.54. I'm 6'4", so there'd be 6 inches clearance on my head and my feet if I laid down. And so even to put a bed that direction, if you got a headboard, you're kind of stuck. And then upstairs, the bedrooms look like they're decent size as well. So when you read things like that, just recognize, check where the bedrooms are, look at the full listing, And the other thing is that it doesn't have a garage. There's room on the land to do a garage if you wanted to. You're probably looking at $15,000 to $25,000 to put a garage in. Now, Blaine Street is 649. This is a Beaver Hall Opal model. It's one of my favorite. I really, really like it. The staircase is nice and wide. When you first come in, this is what you see. Walk upstairs, there's an open concept dining, family room, and kitchen. You have an in-between family room, which for some reason in 2015 seems to be a very hot sell. The finishes are a little more basic in here, but I absolutely adore the floor plan. I think if you type in on Google Beaver Hall, all one word, Opal, you might be able to find the floor plans. If not, email me and I think I've got the PDF for you. Ennisclare is an interesting home. I've seen it in person. They're at 1.349. They were up in the 1.6, 1.4. It was too high. I kind of like it getting close to 1.3. And most of the rural stuff, there is some negotiating room on them. You've got a pond here. You also have an in-ground pool. You've got 4.4 acres. You've got a proportionate share of 90 acres that's right beside Ennisclare. It could probably use a little bit of work in some areas, but the kitchen looks pretty good. This floor probably needs some hardwood. There's different hardwood throughout the house, but big principal rooms. You've got a large kitchen. This is a nice place for a dinner party. This is a dinner party kitchen. There's been some renos done upstairs. That's the master ensuite, I believe. Big master bedroom. There's a loft on the third story. It's a bit of a breezeway through, and then you've got a part of the basement's finished. It is a very big house. Big deck here. There's also a 1,300 square foot heated workshop too. So a lot of value here. It's a little bit further out. It's about 20th Side Road, and then you're heading, it's a little further west. But I don't know, for the size of the home, it's got some really nice features, and some of the other things, the pond, pool, and workshop, it's looking good to me. Here's what happens when mapping goes wrong. And so a big way that people search these days is using the map instead of a list of homes and so on. So this one on Hutchison is showing up. I didn't know where Millbrook or South Monaghan is, so I had to keep zooming out. Turns out it's mapped north of Port Hope and southwest of Peterborough. Not exactly where it is. It is in Milton. It's in Hawthorne Village, or as some people call it, Beatty, if you're checking the guide to Milton prices, which I highly recommend downloading. You don't have to fill in a form. You just get the PDF right over there. And anyway, this one is, it's around 1,300 square feet. There's a gas stove, bit of a smaller kitchen. You have a dining room in the front, plus you have a family room in the back. To me, $449 seems a little bit high. I would certainly look at something even like a crop site, even though it's a townhouse. I would say that there's been some good ones that have been listing for a little bit less. We had the end unit on Porterway. I think it was $459 or something like that we showed a day or two ago. That also makes the yard look pretty small, that particular view, even though it's a pretty standard size lot. So, I don't know. I think they're aiming a little bit high. 2-car parking in the driveway is again a good thing. Doesn't always pay back. So that is the list. Welcome back to Milton Daily Homes after a little bit of a scare yesterday that we may never be back. But we are, and we'll continue to be here. So have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow with another episode.